Good evening, sorry, good afternoon. That's not that late. Hey guys! Oh, let me just put the background music a bit louder. Let me know if you can hear me. And welcome to another live repair show, if you can call it that. So today we have an issue 4B and an issue 4A. I call these twins. They are much alike. They have similar issues. We'll discuss it in a minute. Hey Wayne, hey Franco, good afternoon. Alright, so let's get this started. These boards are pretty nasty. They look like that because some chips are missing here and here. And all the caps are still original, so we have to do a lot. Hey Ben, good afternoon. ROM is missing, still the original voltage regulators are on any area, which will become hot of course, so we have to replace them. That's one of the first things to do. They both now have ULA chips. They didn't have them because these boards didn't have them. I had two from other boards. And I want to have these two boards fixed because in my stack of refurbished boards these revisions are missing, so hence I want to get them sorted out. Okay, let me know if you can still hear the game music. I like that a bit. And if you can hear me, just fine. Let me put the volume a bit down. Of course I have some coffee here, which is important. And this board also, it's not looking the greatest when it comes to the capacitors here. I don't know what happened, if this is because of they're old or something scratched over it, I don't know. I think something scratched. And what this is, I have no idea. So someone seems to have replaced this capacitor here, but it looks just awful. I've never seen such an old capacitor. I don't know where it's from. Maybe it's Eastern European or something, I don't know. And this one has the SA chip. Sorry, was it SA, is it? Oh, this one says SA. Anyway, instead of the LM1889 chip. And this one often doesn't work properly, so most probably I will replace it by default. But first I have to check if the board tracks are okay. This pad here did come off, so I have to check if that is no problem. And oh man, it's a mess. I think I have to get all the chips out to try anything. And also these transistors are not the original ones, so someone has tried to replace them with non-original ones, and that will most likely cause some issues as well. These boards both have problems with the 12 volt and minus 5 volts, so there is something wrong in the corner of the voltage circuit, power circuit. So we have to check that. Can you hear me well? Because no, I've not burned my hands. No, it's just oversaturated. Let me put it a bit down and maybe. Alright, color intensity. Let's set it to 56 or something. Is it better? Coffee's looking good. It's brown. It's good. Right. So let's move on aside and focus on one at a time. I will get all the chips out because it looks like someone tried it already, but it's not finished. So I want to get it out, and I will use my Japanese sucker section tool for this because it's a little bit easier than using the machine for that. But it will be a lot of work because these chips have bent pins bent over the edge of the pads here, and I hate that, but many of those chips have that. Nothing I can do about it. So let's get started. Let's get the chips out because I don't trust them, and I want to know if the chips are okay. We'll test them on another board. Because if they're not, then they will blow up more voltage regulator transistors, and I don't want that. Since someone has worked on it, I might have been it myself, but I don't think so, because if I would usually not do half of a job like this. So I have so many boards here in stock. I think something like 100 or 150, I don't know. So just grab two, and I just want to try to get this board working. See if we can manage that. So this is a lot of work, as you can see. It's a one by one job. I have to straighten them a bit first, carefully, without damaging the pads, which is really hard. But there's not anything I can do about it except for this. So this will take some time. If you have anything to tell or share or ask me, then let me know. We'll check the chat in a moment. Right. So let's get the chips out one by one, because it's not good. I hope we can still save the tracks on this board. Right, let's see. It's really hard to see. The pads are empty already, so I'm going to add a bit more to make sure of that. It's better. will be a disaster, I'm afraid, because I'm so scared that I will pull loads of tracks with the board itself, so we'll see about that. Let's hope not. Let's try this first one here. Charlie is, Wayne, Charlie is manufacturing them, and we're discussing having stock in here in Holland so they can be shipped out more quickly maybe, or maybe because of this web shop is more known, well known, more people can find them. But Charlie and I are talking about it. I just need to respond to some of his latest messages. So I will order all models from him, a couple, and put them in the web shop, and then you should be able to get them from me. But they're made by himself, so that's maybe good to know. I'm not manufacturing his chips because he likes to make them himself. But they should be available. I think even still in his web shop. So the VLA chips. The first RAM chip did come off quite easily, so that's good. Trucks are not that damaged, so let's continue this quest. Yeah, it's because of all the sound is not that good because of all the extraction ventilation here. So I hope you can hear me well enough. Right. This will be a tough board. Someone has replaced the Z80 chip, not myself, and has done some damage on the board, I guess. It's really soldered badly, and there's a really thick wire going from one chip to the Z80. I don't like what I'm seeing, but I hope we can still save this board. I hope I don't have to remove the socket of the Z80 again. We'll see about that. But I don't like that thick wire, it's way too thick for this board. Alright. Of course, removing RAM chips usually takes longer, but most of the pads have been emptied by someone already, though I'm not sure if these are straightened enough. It looks like the second one is also getting off easily. Yeah. Right, we'll test these chips in a moment. Alternatively, I can also always just pick new ones. But I have plenty of used ones, and if this is working, it's not the biggest deal. Alright, let's clean these pads on the top. Looks pretty nice, the first two. So I think we're okay here. Third one then, that looks to be detached already completely, but except for 2 or maybe 3 pads, so I'm trying it again. Trying to make sure there's no solder between the pads and the pins. It's really hard because these pins are not completely straight. Alright. Still a bit of a mess. think we can give it a try. I will remove one side of this capacitor here so we can reach the chip easier. Wiggle, wiggle. Yeah, the fourth one came out as well. Not too bad. Feels like my soldering iron is breaking up once again. I've used a lot of super glue on it already. Alright, still going quite well. Next one seems alright, so maybe I can give it a go. Not completely sure if this will work. So I really wonder what happened when why this board has been worked on and hasn't been finished. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure if it was myself or someone else. If it was myself, it must have been something like 5 years ago, so maybe longer ago, because sometimes boards that I didn't like working on, because like these chips with the bent pins, I just moved aside years ago. But oh, there's one trick moving with the chip. I don't like that, but so this one has to be fixed. Let's see what we can do about it. So this doesn't surprise me. Right, almost done. Okay, the damaged track is now detached from the chip, so it's only one damaged pad here. Let's try to mark that. I have some silver here, but no, that will not show up. Maybe blue. Yeah, blue's good. Blue I can see. So we'll check that later on. 2 more chips, and then we can move on to the next step. Fortunately, most boards don't have these chips with the bent pins, but I really hate why they did that. I wonder how they put the chips in, maybe with a machine or something. But it's really this is not done by hand. I think this is done by a machine. And I guess they did some flow soldering, flow bath, instead of doing another way. So this has not been soldered by hand. So right, still the pins are hard to get loose. Get all the solder off. Unfortunately, I don't have a third camera on in the test corner, so I will just test the chips. Maybe I will aim one of the cameras towards the other side. We'll see about that. I think we can give it a try, or maybe just bend some other pins here first. These ones. So when you've done dozens of boards. This is not the hardest part anymore. It's not. I don't like it. All the bending all the pins back, but it's doable. Right. Let's give it a careful try because I'm not too confident this will get out without more damage. Nope. Okay, I see more pins that need to be straightened first. I thought I'd done that. Okay. I think this is better. Yeah. Okay, almost. Please go out without more damage. Oh, I like this board quite, by the way, because all the old school resistors on there, the brown ones, these are not very common. So most of the boards have the yellow ones, light brown ones. But these are old school resistors. I like them. And though it's not an old board, so not sure why to use those. All right, last one, and then we can focus on fixing the damage and get to the next step. Nope. I've got still more repairs to do, but I'm doing well when it comes to keeping up with orders. So I think in the next couple of days I will do more repairs, and I think next week I'm done with all the backlog of repairs. It's not too much. Still a couple of people are waiting for a long time, so I need to sort out what's still here from them. I'll make it up with for them with them for waiting. So hopefully we'll think of something. Right, the last chip. Will that be enough for this one? We will see. Oh, I broke that one, the capacitor. Have to replace that one. Might have a couple of spares, original spares. Okay, so not too much damage, but a couple of pads need to be fixed. There's an easy fix for that I will show you. It's just some careful work. So let's give it a go. First let's clean up these pads. I like to use solder wick for that because it's a quick way of removing all the excessive solder on the pads, and then we can put in the sockets after we fixed the damaged pads and tracks. Alright, I think this is enough. Looks quite nice. Not too bad. Maybe should move the camera a bit, or maybe the table's better because I'm not showing you what I'm doing. If that board is anything like my test track, it doesn't want to be fixed. And yeah, well, I had more of those boards, and sometimes I just discard them and get all the chips off because there might be more track damage which I cannot see underneath chips or something like that. But I always want to give it a try. Nice, Wayne. Good to know. Good to hear that you fixed one board. And thank you, Wayne, by the way. Thank you again. Hey, Jan. Good afternoon. It's getting busy. Okay, let me do a quick check with my tiny magnifying glass, which I like a lot. Okay, only 2 tracks or pads are damaged, and it's not a big deal. I just want to make sure that when I solder in these sockets, that the pins are connecting to the pads properly. So I will put in some solution for that, which I have done more than once, and I'm thinking there's no need for cleaning it up from the top side. So first let's try to find a replacement for this broken capacitor. I didn't mean to, sorry guys, I didn't mean to damage the 40-year-old capacitor. I feel sorry for the capacitor. So it has to be replaced by another one, a new one. I always put in a new one, but I like keeping the original look. So if I can find a original one which is still good, then why not? And also for that I sometimes use discard boards when I cannot fix them. Let me check, where did I put all these small parts? Maybe here. I think so, but I need something to put it in. Just a second. Yeah, here we got one. So these are boxes that with parts from other boards. Some boards might have been discarded the way these parts come from. But you can see I save original parts because of the looks. I found an exact matching capacitor. Let's put that in. Come on. All right. Well, let's do measure the capacitance of this capacitor, because I wonder if these are still within the original specs. I actually don't know if these are, I think 22 or something. Let me check what the schematic says. The schematic says, let me check. Computers, the Spectrum 48K models, issue 4A4B. And these should be, no, this is not a schematic, this is a schematic. These should be 22 nanofarads, so we should measure something in that neighborhood. Hey, Gianluigi. Good afternoon. What happened to your message? I don't know. Okay, let's see. 17. It's far from original specs. What do we have here? No, that doesn't say anything. It's in the circuit. Right. So it's better to replace these with modern ones, as you can see, especially because so you can get rid of a bit of the jail bars. What do you think, guys? Should these be replaced with new ones? Because I don't have axial ones, only have the radial ones, and I don't think those look that nice. That's the main reason I'm not replacing them now. But what do you think? Should these be replaced to improve the quality of the video output a bit? Of course, it might help a bit with stable functioning of the computer. Nice. Well, the ZX HDDs are still available, and I still sell them, so I guess some people are still having some Raspberry Pi Zeros in the shelves or something, the drawers. But I really don't know when the Raspberry Pi Zero will be available again, or Zero W. I'm still waiting for an update, and I haven't got them myself, so I don't know, to be honest. I really don't hope that Raspberry Pi decided to abandon the Raspberry Pi Zero, the first version. I really hope they will continue to manufacture them. But there is a slight chance that they will stop producing them, and then it's up to Emre, who developed the firmware on the Raspberry Pi, to get the Raspberry Pi 2 working. But the downside of that is that the Raspberry Pi 2 is already a lot more expensive than the one. So I really hope I can still obtain more Raspberry Pi 1s. And I don't know when those will be available, so it's really hard to say. Alright, so let's fix those two pads. Replace them. Okay, we'll replace them, and I will get for the lookout for axial capacitors then to replace these. Not now. If you're alright with that, I will do that later on. The problem is, if I will do that with all refurbished boards, of course that will take a lot of extra time, and I'm not sure if I can do that within the same rate, you know. It's not the most time consuming to replace these, but so the whole pad came off. It's somewhere on the table. It's here now. Maybe I can show you. Can you see the pad? This is the pad. So now we'll have to make sure the top track is connected to the bottom of the board, and I will do that with a tiny wire, which is perfect for that. So we'll also put it in an angle so we can solder it easily. So this is my fix, and because this is underneath the tracks, the sockets, you can almost not see it. I think you cannot see it because the sockets will push to each other, so there's no way of noticing this. So this is the way I like to fix these. Yeah, this is a good fix. And I want to make sure there's no contact between other tracks. So this looks well. So the small wire is going to the bottom of the board, which I can solder on. So I'm sure that the pins of the socket will be connected to that track actually. Now the other one, which is still good enough on top, but we need to make sure it will be connected to the bottom before putting in the sockets. So first I'm trying to open up the hole of the pad, then I will get the small wire in. So again, if you don't know, these are wires from 80-pin IDE cables from the past, or still used by retro computer enthusiasts, of course. So I have a lot of these cables, and I use these wires to fix tracks like these. It's easy enough. Right. Yeah, this one got on nicely. Right. And of course I could now do some initial testing, but because I removed all the chips, there is a chance that there is a short joint on the bottom of the board, so I have to check that or just simply put in the new sockets. Maybe it's better to first put in first to do some testing, because if the board is beyond fixing, then it would be a waste. But sockets are cheap, so it's not the biggest deal. It's something like less than €1 for all the sockets. So let's just do that. Sarujkin, I hope I pronounced it correctly. Thank you again, as well, for your donation. Let's see, Retro, I can see all the prices going up. Yeah, it's true. I hope that will come to an end. Pi0W, may it be available anymore? I don't know. I hope they will still be available. I cannot believe that. Oh, it needs 16 pin. I cannot believe that Raspberry Pi Foundation would stop producing them, because those were the cheapest Raspberry Pi Zeros available, or Raspberry Pis anyway. Of course you have the Raspberry Pi Pico, but that's a completely different solution. It's a microcontroller, not a system on a chip, so it's different. I'm sure that there are plenty of people looking out for a Raspberry Pi Zero still, so I hope they can still produce them. Alright, this first chip doesn't want to get in. I think it's because of the wire, so let's check that out. Yeah. So I'm only putting in the sockets because I want to make sure there's no joints, solder bridges. Let me write down that I should look for axial capacitors. Just a second, guys. Right. Maybe someday someone finishes his cluster of Raspberry Pi Zeros and sell all thousands to me. But I think I've had over something like 1500 or something. How many did I sell? 1161. So I think something like about 1,000 Raspberry Pis Zeros I've had already. Mainly bought from Raspberry Pi Foundation directly, which is not cheap, which is more expensive than buying them retail, but buying them retail is limited to one per person, unfortunately. Some shops even do not accept returning orders for repeating orders for Raspberry Pi Zero. So mostly I have to buy them from the Raspberry Pi Foundation directly, but I offer both ZXHD with the Raspberry Pi and without. Of course, with the Raspberry Pi only if I have them in stock. So people can choose if they want to buy the Raspberry Pi themselves. The only thing is that they need to solder on the pin block themselves, and not everyone likes doing that. What's underneath this one here? Only the wire, so I'm not sure. Yeah, Spectronets are, I want to say right up, but I still want to do some backlog things first, so some of the repairs for people, I don't want to keep them waiting any longer, and then Spectronet is next, so I hope something like in a week or two, but I think I've said it a couple of times already. Yeah, Wi-Fi is built in with some machines, but the only problem is that Spectronet has so much more features, functionality than those Wi-Fi modules. I wish the Wi-Fi solutions were compatible with TNFS, for example, but I don't think someone has worked on that yet. It would be nice if those solutions can connect to a TNFS, which was developed for Spectronet. Spectronet is really a very powerful and complete solution. And I still have loads of ideas to work on, especially for Spectronet, so I hope we can ship them out quickly. Alright, so I'm soldering the sockets in, and then we'll do some cleanup. The flux remainders here, because it's really hard to see if the contacts are good or not with all the smog on it. So I want to do some initial testing if the power lines are okay, and then we'll put RAM chips in again, but the power circuit is most important before doing anything else. And because the capacitors look so bad on this board, I will replace a couple of them already, maybe all, I will see. How to make solder bridges, part 1. Right, so that's a lot better. That's very dirty. I'm not sure if you can see. Yeah, you can see all the dirt on the pad. So we'll clean it up. And then we can see if there's still some solder bridges left. Element does support the Wi-Fi module, I think. I have one in the box still, but I didn't open it. Yeah, I still use the pick and place machine, but especially for Spectronet and the DiffMC Enjoy Pro 1. But I haven't used it much lately, so that will change soon. Still need to know to find out if I have all the parts in stock now for let's say 100 Spectronet interfaces, because I got a lot of Ethernet controllers for them, but I need to make sure that I have enough SRAM chips and ROM chips and the correct version, and even if they actually work, because I've bought some batches in the past with a lot of bad ones of chips, so I have to make sure I have enough chips, and so that's a problem. I can only offer them or when they're all produced, because I need to know if the chips are all in and if everything works. I might even have to step over to new board design that didn't send me because of some of the chips that were not available at the time. But I think I should have enough for about 100 or something like that. All right. Smells nice. Alright, let's see if the pads are clean now. Oh. I think they're okay. Let's add some light. Right, all the soldering looks pretty nice. So I think there are no solder bridges, so we should be able to at least do some testing in a second. But first, I want to replace the voltage regulator because this one gets hot in a minute or so. I don't like that. I'm even not sure if it's okay, so. Now only if it wanted to get from the board, but yeah, it's hot. Alright, I want to give that a clean as well. Let's remove this isolation pad, we don't need it anymore. And while we're at it, this edge connector really looks gross, especially those two pads there. I think you can see it on the camera. It's really dirty, so I have to check if we're using cotton swabs only if enough, but I don't think so. There are some other methods of getting those clean, but let's check it out in a second. Alright. So next is using my glass fiber tool, and always put something underneath that because these hairs, you don't want them to get in your hand, you know. A lot of dirt is coming off, so looking better already. I don't know what happened to these pads, to these edge contacts. It was really dirty. Maybe just some corrosion. Maybe it's been in a wet room or something. And for some reason those two are worse than the others. Might just have to resolder them and see if that gets rid of the problem. The other contacts are okay now. I really don't know what happened. I think someone did solder them already, but you should not solder edge contacts because they get thicker and they will damage or bend the pins on your edge connectors of your add-ons, so it's not something you should do. Some people have done it because they think the interface will work better afterwards, but only for a while. I will just resolder those two and remove the excessive solder afterwards. Hey Ben, thank you. Oh man, I should get my vacuum cleaner. I will get it in a second. I always tell my kids that they should clean up if they make a mess, so I should do that myself then as well, don't you think? And I always close a bottle of IPA before doing something like that. I don't want any sparks with it. I don't think it will look nice on the live stream. Do you think? If you get fire. All right. Okay, let's fix those two pads there. So these ones are still, well, I don't know, they look like paint even. I don't know what it is. Gatorade chip, is that the gate array chip, Wayne? Because I actually have some new ones in stock. They were offered on, I think, eBay once, so I get a couple. Yeah, gate array, yeah. They weren't cheap, so something like 15 euros something each. This is dangerous, it could harm the board because there is a chance that heating up these pads will get them from the board, and then you have a really big problem. So I'm being careful, not heating them up too much. But it's necessary because they were really, really dirty. Let me check if I get them here. Yeah, I have them here. Do you mean these chips? So you can see I have 5 new ones here. I have to check what I paid for them. The 40077. So maybe if they're still available, you could check it out. I think I got them from eBay or from a Spanish shop, or maybe a Spanish shop on eBay. I don't know anymore. It's been a while ago. This is a lot better. It's still not clean enough, so I needed some more brushing with the glass fiber tool. The hard thing about those chips is that I, of course, cannot guarantee if they work. I will find out if I put them in the machine myself, but that's the reason it's hard to sell them to anyone. But maybe you can check out if they're still available somewhere. Because I don't think I bought all of them. I've done that with other parts sometimes, but not with these gate arrays. Right, I think we're done with getting the edge connector in good shape again. Alright. So you can see this board is a lot of work. But we've done some things now. Let's think of what the next step will be. First, let's put in a recon voltage regulator. Well, it's not too hard if you know how to do drag soldering, which I do a lot on every interface. So it's not too that hard. Just need some flux, like a flux pen, for example, some solder wick to remove solder bridges, and some experience. So it would be good if you've done it before. But I do it all the time. So getting the gate area chip in is not the hardest part, hardest work. I've not done BJ chips yet. I was planning on it to do that for the element machine, but I didn't come to that before Jan needed. So he's outsourced the work to someone else. I might do it in the future, but we'll see. Alright. So a couple of more things before I'm going to test. First thing is I'm going to reflow all the contacts here on this Z80 chip, and let's see if the connection is the same as on the other board. So this one is going to that pin here. Let's see, this one. So that seems alright. That seems correct. So the only question is, how easy is it to replace that one? So now I can reflow all the contacts. I'm going to check if it's really needed to. Oh man, this is dirty. Put the wire on. So I have absolutely no idea if this board has been damaged by this work done by someone else. I don't know. I'm just hoping, guessing that it's still fixable. But even trying to reflow these contacts, I'm not sure what happened here. I think all the pads have been damaged slightly or so. Oh man, I don't know what happened here, but it's really hard to solder the contacts again. I don't know. What did he do? What happened to the socket? I think I will just get the socket out because I cannot solder it. I don't know what he used for it. It's probably some old socket which he reused maybe from another board. I don't know. It's terrible quality. So let's get it out. And then we can see if we can fix the wire issue another way. I think I will use the other one for a second because I can do it quicker with this one. Oh, what happened here, man? Also bent pins. I don't know why. Why would someone bend pins of these sockets? There's really no reason to do that. Anyway, let's bend them back. It's such a lot of work. Right, a couple of more bent pins here. Really, really odd. I don't know why someone would do that. Now let's see if we can get the old socket out, put in a fresh one. I really hope so. Oh, this is really a pain. I really hope I'm not damaging any more tracks, but we'll see about that in a second. Oh, one track is at least completely connected. So one track is now floating in the air here. Sorry for that. No white smoke yet. Hey Mark. Who did I miss? Let me check. Hey Robert, good afternoon. Are you back in Holland yet, Mark? Alright, let's see. So, man, this looks bad. So loads of damaged stuff here. Alright, all the old pins are out now. And now the question is, how much damage is here? It's dirty, and so we got at least one track completely pulled. And yeah, another one, the one that at the wire, but we can fix that easily because the pad is on the bottom still, so no reason of doing it another way. It's just lazy. Alright, so mainly the underneath track that I just pulled, we have to put it back carefully, and then we'll use some glue. Alright. So I'm carefully gluing back to the pulled track. We'll wait until that sets a bit. Almost set, but I want to make sure it won't come off easily again. Alright, let's now wait for that to set properly. In the meantime, we'll clean up some more pads here. Right, let's see if the other track that was damaged, oh, it goes on top of the board, which is quite hard. So the other track that was damaged, not by me, but the previous repairsman, comes from here and should go to that pad. But the question now is there a more easy way of doing that? I might give it a try doing it on top of the board. I'm not really certain if that is a good solution, but we can always give it a try. See if we can reach the spot that just comes out from between the legs of the other chip. Let's see if we can manage that. I'm not entirely sure if we can, but we can try it out. See what happens. No, I don't think so. I think the problem is that the very short remainder of the track is it's almost impossible to reach. I don't think I can reach it with my soldering iron to pre-solder that. No way. The only thing I can do is remove the chip as well and put a socket on it, or just use the same solution as done here. What is the best way of doing that? I don't like to remove the chip because the chip is also put in with bent pins. I don't like that, so I think I will just keep it with the same solution on the bottom of the board and just work on the other track that was damaged. So that has already reached the original position again. That should be okay. Just a tiny bit of glue on that, and then I'll put in the solution in a second. Right? Now I have a small challenge because it needs to get two ways. Let's see if we can fix it. Will not be easy. So we got one way already, so the other side needs to be done as well. That's one. Almost done. Still want to give it a try with the other one as well. First let's finish this one, then I will do some cleaning up, and then we'll see about putting in a new socket. This is quite hard. Not enough space to put in two wires and then the socket itself in a second. It will be hard. It will be done one way or the other. It's just not easy. Right. I really hope there's enough space for the pin of the socket itself. Yeah, there must be. So we can look on it clearly now, and I think all the other tracks are okay. The only thing I wanted to check out is when I remove the solder of those two pins on the socket there, if I can reach the wire in between. Let's give that a go. Might be just enough. It's getting a mess here. Let's see if we can reach it now. So I want to reach the tiny wire in between the legs, but no. Oh well, let's solder all of it and see if we touched the wire as well. I think I touched the wire now, so that would be good. I think because of that we can now attach the new wire to it, which should be longer than this. Let's grab a new one. Right. Right, now let's see if we can reach that tiny wire in between of those legs of the chip. I really hope so. It would be nice. Look, it worked. It is hard, but it worked. Let's do some cleaning up before putting glue on it. Right. So it is connected now, which I like a lot more than the other solution. Now let's first put some glue on here and make sure it fixates. Looks like an original trick, almost, which is good. And now I have to get in between of two other tricks, which is really hard because it's just a little space. Oh man, I hope I can show you what the result is in a second. So I'm trying to move it. I think I need some more glue before continuing. Just a small drop here. Yes. Now let's wait until we put it to the original hole in the socket there, and then we're done. So this is a really hard way of repairing tricks on the board, but it's doable. You can see it. Okay, let's move the final piece here. Let's cut it where I should cut it. Then it can go into the socket, and I need to do it on the other side as well. But the most important is to make sure that it won't touch any other part of the board. I think we're good. Alright, I will put some things aside because it's getting a mess. Let me check the chat. The tool to bend legs. No, I have a tool to remove the complete chip, which is this one here. And I tried it, but it didn't work as much as I liked. So this one, it's a really expensive add-on for a Weller soldering iron. But I've tried it and it doesn't get hot enough. Maybe I should check out why it's not. Maybe you mean you're referring to that. So you're not back in Holland, I guess. It's 9:30 there. Uncovered traces, yeah, always tricky. Well, we're almost done. Well, that's what you get if you do it a lot. You can practice, you know. And nowadays I like to do it as nice as possible. So a quick cleanup before finishing this part of the board. But I can already say that doing this amount of work on the board is really not worth it yet. Maybe in the future when the boards get more valuable, I don't know. But at this moment it's just too much time to put in it. But I will continue because it's just fun fixing it properly, I think. Alright. Maybe I should have been a surgeon, I don't know. I don't like hospitals, so... Right. So this is the way I do it, and I hope you get some trust in the quality then. Because at the end it should work as good as an original new one from the factory. Okay, it looks a lot better. Now I'm going to do some final checking to make sure there's no joint and no broken tracks. And so far it looks good. What do you think, guys? Do you think this takes too much time, or do you like it? I'm wondering. I'm not a MacBook repairsman. Could bring in more money, like Louis Rosman, for example. But I do it old school with 8-bit machines for a living. One more final check, final, to make sure this will not give me more troubles. I think it's completely clean on top. Let's see if the socket wants to get in. So there is some resistance in the corner of the, around there where the two wires come together. It should be just enough, I think. Oh yeah, it's in. It's in. Perfect. That looks a lot better. Now let's see if we can remove all the ugly soldering there. We'll do that in a second. First, let's start with soldering a couple of points here and see if the socket is in correctly. I think so. This is so much better. It's just dirty. get rid of this ugly wire here. Done. Wow. I like that. The 4 series, nice one. Yeah, cool. Well, the result is most important, of course. And people will learn a lot of it, I think. Now let's clean it up. You can see how dirty it is at this moment, and in a minute it's a lot better. It's new. It's bleeding. It's bleeding brown, you can see it. It's not clean at all. It's getting better. It's almost gone, completely gone now. So make sure to have enough IPA, isopropyl alcohol, because it's really useful to clean up boards like these. There's still some soldering blobs which I try to brush away, and if not I will use something else. I tend to use plastic tools to remove small blobs, you know, to make sure the board's not damaged. But this looks way better than it did. And I'm more confident that this socket is now being put in well, making good contact. So at least the Z80 should work as it did from factory. And of course I could now do some checking if all the tracks are mounted correctly, but I will do that with some testing in a bit. Ah, nice. I prefer vodka. Right, so all the IPA has vanished now. Okay, board is in good shape with this fix as well. Alright. Whew. I think the next one will be replacing some of the capacitors, because those are in really bad shape and I don't dare to test the board as it is right now, so we'll replace them first, then we will do some testing. I hope you can still wait for a bit. Let's remove them all before putting on the new ones. Let's do it the easy way. So if you don't know where all the locations of the capacitors are, you can look them up. There are capacitor maps on my website, ByteDelight.com, and then or just Google for capacitor maps ZX Spectrum. You will find them on ByteDelight. Oh man, these have been cut before. If these boards were still produced newly nowadays, so like we're in 1984 or something, maybe I should just open a repair shop and teach people how to do this for a living. But we're not living in that era anymore, unfortunately. Alright. I think the board will look completely different when the new caps are in. I really hope we can get this board working, otherwise it would be painful. God. So someone already also damaged the tracks of the capacitors and pads. So I have to do some fixing here as well. How? Just how? Those are the easiest ones. Anyway. Right. So emptying pads is not the most difficult work, of course, so we'll use the machine for that. Clogged, as always. I think I have to clean it up. Alright. We also need to replace the voltage regulator transistors, because those look bad. They probably won't work anymore because I already checked the voltages. think, for a reset. A couple here. I think those are all right. And now we can put in the new ones. Let's get rid of the old ones. I don't think the quality of the boards is bad. There's only sometimes you have some boards, some circuit boards only which are very easily damaged. Tracks come off easily, but most of the time it's not that bad, especially if you take enough care. Also, the parts, the original capacitors weren't that bad, but they're just 40 years old, so there's no reason of saying that it was cheaped out because of that. I'm actually not sure if there's anything that was that bad. I don't think so. Maybe the original design of the ULA chip, of course. The chips become very hot over 60 degrees easily, and I think that was the same back then, but for maybe it's because of age or usage or something that become worse. But it's not production quality, it's more like the way they're designed. They just consume too much power, I think. And that was normal at the time. TTL circuits, 5-volt tolerant circuits, were the standard back in the day, so I don't think that was an issue. I think the quality overall is okay. There's not much that will be damaged. And maybe of course the power circuit is made in such a simple way. It is a switching power circuit, but it's made of so little components that it's easily blown when something goes bad with one of the low run chip, for example. So that is a sensitive part of the circuit, but if it works, there's no problem at all. Well, let's just wait with the transistors. Let's just first do the capacitors. I think the design is quite good. It's just very clever compared to other machines back in the days. So I know I have a bad joint here, which I should check in a moment. It's connected on top, so if that's all, if it's not connected on the bottom, I don't have to do anything more, but it looked like the track pad was damaged, so I've checked it in a second. And also the way the parts are mounted to the board is not bad. It's quite good actually. Components are soldered well. I've seen younger machines, systems that had way poorer quality of soldering. For example, the Disciple disk interface has some solder was used that corroded in 20 years, which made many of those interfaces not working anymore. So that's one thing that I've seen in the past, and with other manufacturers of other things, other stuff, other electronics. Sometimes you see components soldered on top of each other, and I don't like that at all. It's a bad way of doing of building stuff, assembling stuff. Right. nowadays, if you think of it, nowadays some machines are made to last for a couple of years. You know, like how long do PlayStations keep in use? Is it something like 6 years, maybe 7 years? What do people do with them if they're not used anymore? I think loads of them are just thrown away. There's nothing, not much you can do to repair them. I wonder if there are people that do component level repairs on Xboxes or PlayStations. I don't know. I don't think it's worth the trouble. Maybe later when they become rare as well, of course. But there's a big difference between how much people like or love their consoles compared to how much people like ZX Spectrum, for example. It's a huge difference, if you ask me. Okay, let's see, this is an issue 4B board, and for this capacitor on a 4B board we need a 1 microfarad aimed to the top. There should be a small plus on the board there, which is, oh, you can almost not see it where I'm pointing it, sorry for that. And then for the underneath one we needed 22 microfarads. Point to the left. And then we need a 1 microfarad there, and 4.7. So, we're almost doing testing. Oh. Just have to replace the regulator transistors. Okay. Let's see, there is a connection between those two pads. Let me see if the connection still is working or not. It's not, so we need to fix that. Yeah, so there's a small amount of damage there, but it's easily fixable, so just put a small piece of new wire on top. I wonder if anyone will ever notice. So that has been fixed. Now for some pad checking on the bottom. Alright. I think we're okay. So the final thing is the power transistors. We'll just remove both of them and put in the correct ones and known working ones. god. Even those pins are bent. They stick out way too much. So if you put in a new transistor with longer pins, then it's easy to cut them, isn't it? Should be. Ouch! Right. Okay. Man, this board is a lot of work. I still think that the machines that people grow up with nowadays will be machines that people find nostalgic in the future. Hence, I think nostalgia is a category of work on itself, which will just stay. But it will take 25 years at least until people get nostalgic feelings of their systems that they grew up with. And of course, I have no idea if I will still be doing this by the time but you could say that you can build a company just working with nostalgic machines. It could be a modern company, if you ask me. Nope. Just no modern equipment. Machines. Right. So a couple of more seconds, I will put in new transistors first, and then we'll do first testing, and I will do a quick test on the other side of the room. And then we'll do more testing here with the diag card on the connected to the board. But I want to see if we get any output. No smoke. Of course, we don't have the lower RAM chips in at the moment, but that's no problem because we want to know if the voltages are present. And I think I first need to do some more alcohol cleaning. Right. Okay. So first some more cleaning, and then we can. I should put in new transistors, but it's a couple of seconds work. I want to clean up these sockets, which I think I did do. And so I did the Z80, but I just didn't do the parts here. That's a lot better. Maybe I want to give it another reflow, but we'll see that in a minute. Alright. So only the transistors, and then we can power it up. think we've been working on this for 2 hours or so. Way too long. Let me check the music stop already. Do I have some more music? Right. So, now before powering it on, it's always good to do some measurements to make sure there are no shorts. Of the main power channels. Let's see. Okay, let's just measure capacitance, or sorry, resistance. It should be about 3 kilo ohms. Yeah, this is good. The other one as well. Okay, so far so good. Nice. So I don't see shorts or something. I think we can give it a try, but I will just turn the camera a bit first. And I felt some stickiness on the Z80 socket, so I'll give it a quite clean, because I think when I had the board upside down, some of the IPA must have gotten through the socket. Right. Oh. Okay. I got 9 volts here, but I'm waiting with that because I want to do a quick test on the other side. Right, let me check the chat. Oh, a lot of chats. Hope you're well, Franco. Right. Okay, so we don't have an Z80 in the machine at this moment. I see some more stuff that I should get cleaned just quickly. That's better. Okay. So, let's put back the Z80 CPU, otherwise we won't see anything, or maybe power only, but want to see some activity. ROM we will put in later, and I think I will do a quick check, and let's see if we can just turn the camera a bit. Okay, maybe I can zoom in, I'm not sure. Let's try. Why I've only seen one other cameras. Yes. Does this work? It's not zooming at all. Why is it not zooming? It should zoom. It's not. Oh, I did zoom once. I don't know. This doesn't work at all. So you have to do with this picture at the moment. Maybe you can switch. I don't have a... Ah, we can do it this way. Okay, you can still hear me. Let's give it a try. So just a quick try to see what it does. I'm really curious. What do you think, guys? Do we get anything, or will it just give some smoke? Let me see if the focus is on automatic. Yeah. I know you cannot see a lot, but let's give it a try. Just a second. Right. So we should get all kinds of scrambled picture. Yeah, like this. This is perfect. This is perfect. This is exactly what we wanted. So let's now put the die card on it, and we should get some beeping. Okay, so that's good. Now we need some working RAM chips. So I know already that I don't have enough, and I'm a bit careful trying these chips out on the just repaired board. So let's see if these chips still work. I will test it on another board which has proper video output, and then we can put them back in if we want to. I usually prefer keeping the lower RAM chips at least in soldered on the board directly, but I needed to get them out, all of them, so I will put them back in the sockets. It's a waste of time of getting the sockets out again, of course. And some people prefer having the chips socketed as much as possible, which is completely understandable for future replacements, especially because I'm still trying to use original chips. So there's no lower RAM chip on the board at this moment, as you may have seen. So we're going to put in some, but oh, let me just switch cameras. Like this, maybe. Nope, that doesn't work. Why doesn't this work? I don't know. Let's click on it then. Alright, so I'm just bending, getting the legs straight from the chips that came off the board, so I can try them in a working board in a second. And for some reason, the chips on this board were mixed. I'm not sure if someone replaced them, but there are different chips on this board, so I want matching chips. So first I want to know if these chips are still working, and if they are, I will find more ones in this stack here. See if we can match enough. So we'll get back to the other side and see if we can. Alright, let's put the volume a bit down. Alright. So let's grab another board, because I don't want to try potentially bad chips in a just fixed board. We have another board for that. So I will just power this board on and replace the chip one by one and see if they still work. I have one chip socketed on the board. So let's see. So first one, is this still working? Nope, it's not. So we have one bad chip already. We'll put them in a stack of bad chips. I have dozens of bad chips, and I'll keep them all just because they're original chips. So this one is still working. We'll do some more testing obviously in a second, but just for a quick test and see if they work, because you can see it because these are the video chips, you can see it immediately. So we had one bad one and two working ones. Three working ones. Four working ones, but this is another type, so I don't like to mix them. We'll keep them separate. 5 working ones. And 6 working ones. Okay. Now let's see if we can match more of those. I think it will be hard. I got some more STC chips, so that's good. So we'll get to the other board now. The one we just repaired, and match them. These are from the same year even, so 1984, which is great. So I think I can match all chips from the same year at least, which is good. So all 1984 chips I will show you in a second. But at first I want to do a quick test here and see if these are all okay now. So we should get a picture when connecting the die card again, because the die card has a ROM and this board doesn't have one yet. Let's see what it does with the die card connected to it now. Yay! Look at that. I hope you guys can see it. Yeah, you can see it. So we have a working board. Let's see if it tests completely. Yeah, we don't have a ROM. I know. I just will press 1 to continue. Let's see if all the chips, RAM chips are working. No red border yet. So this is good news. We didn't spend all the time on getting no result. This is great. Alright. So this works. We just have to put in a ROM and put a heatsink on the ULA chip, and then we're good to go. And of course replace the 22 nanofarad capacitors, which only are 17 maybe. So they really need to be replaced, and you get rid of a bit of the vertical borders there. Oh yeah, this is normal. There's no ROM in it, so this is normal. Okay, let's do the final work on this board, which will take, I think, about 20 minutes, half an hour maybe. So this is good. So let's get the heat sinks out. Nice work. Where is my thermal paste? It's there. Alright, let's switch over the cameras here. Oh, this one. Yes. Nice! We fixed it. So first let's put on thermal paste and glue on the ULA chip. I tend to put too much thermal paste on it, so try to use a little less than I did before. It will spread itself by the force that I will put on it in a second. Just want to get a bit of the size here. That is way more than enough, so we can now put the heatsink on. Alrighty. And again, for that I will use some force to make sure it's properly pushed on the chip, centered as well, and then we will remove the ULA socket and glue solder it on the board, because otherwise it won't fit in a rubber key case or not fit properly. Oh, it's not centered at all, but it's not the biggest deal. No one will notice when it's in. Sorry about it, guys, you know. Right. Always put a label on the heatsink to know which type it is. So it says it's a ULA type 7, as you can see, which it actually is. Alright. So, what's remaining? The rump chip is remaining, and we have to get a spare one and do some small modifications to get the spare one working, because this only has one select line instead of 2 on the original chips. Right. So we need some solder. So I'm using a 27C128 chip for this. And because of that I need to do a couple small modifications here. We're almost done. We almost have a completely working board again. Took a while. Oh, flex paste. Yeah, that's completely different. It can happen. I wonder, did you manage to solve the mess? Get it off again and put on thermal paste? I hope so. Alright, still have to check. Oh, I think the ZID is working correctly because the die card didn't mention anything about the M1 line, which is good. Fortunately, no bent pins on the ULA socket. It's just an RC socket, so why would you bend pins on that? But you never know. This was one of the most complicated boards to work on until now, but I take up the challenge nowadays. I don't throw them away anymore like I did 10 years ago or longer. I never throw away boards, by the way. I only discard them and get parts of. Otherwise I will never have spare parts, you know, original spare parts then. Not all parts are still obtainable, so it's good to have some boards that you can use as a donor. So this is one for the shelf, and if you buy a board like this one, I got all board issues on the shelf at the moment, except for this one and the issue 4B. And of course no issue 5s here, or issue 1s as well. Those are really rare. But if you buy one you get warranty. You've seen how much care is taken. Be enough to lift it out. I really hope I'm not pulling any tracks again. Right. It looks awesome. And I will do a lot of testing to make sure the board is completely working. All kinds of add-ons, and if the ULA chip doesn't get too hot. There's a heatsink on it now, so it shouldn't happen anymore. We've got proper voltages, we've got proper capacitors, so that all should be just fine. Need to do some cleaning, and at the wrong chip. Okay, I now do the small modification for this chip, and then we're done. So we fixed all the terrible damaged tracks and pads in a very nice way, I think. So this modification combines the two selection signals for the ROM to just one. So it is something like an OR circuit, but it's made simple with just two diodes and a pull-up resistor. I've done this years ago. This is a design I made myself. It's important for NEC chips, NEC chips, when used with a diff IDE interface, because the NEC chip, the brand, has a low power mode, which takes more time to resume from, and time is just a millisecond or two, three maybe, and that's needed for to get the diff IDE interface working properly. Hence this modification is always needed with the diff IDE interface, and also with an EEPROM like this 27C128, because this one only has one selection signal. But what you do with the NEC ROM is just use the selection signal instead of the signal that will put it in low power state. Alright, just need to find a proper ground. Is it ground? Yeah, I think it is a pull down resistor, yeah. So this one or this one. I can use both, so we'll use the lower one. It's not a pull up, it's a pull down. I was mistaken. Right. So it should be working now completely, which we'll test in a second. What do you think, guys? Thank you, Franco. So don't be drunk when you repair a ZX Spectrum. I sometimes have a beer, but not more than that. It's easy to make mistakes. Happens to me all the time. Alright. Will it work? Will it work as new or not? Oh, we do need to clean up the socket. Almost forgot that. ULA socket. Then we have a completely refurbished board, except maybe for the small capacitors, as we discussed. We'll try to find them, good ones. A little more brushing here. So we use quite a hard brush, which will not fall apart with alcohol. Been using it for years already, so it's a good one. There's a tiny solder blob there, which I want to get removed. I think it's gone. Nope. This is what I use a magnifier for. That looks just perfect. So I think it will do. Let's give it another try. I will also put back the heatsink, the voltage regulator heatsink, just for the looks. That's what I do by default nowadays. So I just cut a piece on the right side and put it back so it looks original. I like that a lot. Alright, which button should I put? Yeah, that one. Hope you can see it. I'm not on the way myself. I don't think so. Let's power it on. Yay! Shall we play a game? Which game shall we play, guys? Let me know. Name a game. Name me a game. To celebrate the victory of this incredible, complicated repair job. Which game shall I play? You tell me. I'm waiting for your proposals, and I'm not sure if you can see it because it's quite far off. But I want to do it anyway. Just a couple of seconds. Name me a game. I'm waiting for suggestions. Robocop. Highway Encounter. Okay, Robocop was first. You can see what I'm doing? Yeah, I think so. Right. Oh, that's my standard menu that opens up when I power on this with this SD card. It's just a reminder that I can push a button to do some testing new stuff. Let's get to the games. Robocop. Oh, it's been a long time that I played Robocop. What's the easiest way of getting to the next page? It's Shift 8. So this is the long file name NMI browser. Robocop 1. Okay, Kempston. Oh my god. Can I still do this? Oh, well, that's the video connector. It's only a bad connection. Okay. Yeah. Oh, this is a AY sound game. I can still do it. Oh, don't kill me, don't kill me. You're dead. Yeah, I'm still winning. I'm almost low on ammo, so I have to be careful. How do you get up the stairs again? I don't know. I don't remember. We'll just move on. So Robocop is just running fine. Oh, come on, stop it. Oh, I don't have any bullets. Do I have bullets? No, no bullets. Oh, no. There are bullets there. I get more bullets now. Oh, stop, no! I'm dying. I'm almost dead. Ah, I'm dead. Okay. It's working, but I'm dead. Alright. Manic Miner. Yeah. Okay. I think Manic Miner will do. Sound is better, but I have to play Robocop again. It's been a long time. Manic Miner. Okay, just one more game then, because we managed to fix this machine completely. Okay, I think it's the second page. Nope. Manic Miner. Manic-miner.tab. Oh, sorry. Ah, come on. Sorry. Okay, I need to jump here. No! Okay, one more try. I gave it one more try. I should be able to pass the first level, shouldn't I? When do we have to jump? Yeah, that's better. I don't remember if I should jump. I think I should jump here. Oh, I did it. It's still living. Woohoo! Oh, that one is hard. Oh no! Guys, just... I give up. It's working, okay? It's working. The machine is working. Let me get the board back so I can show you. Manic Miner is not my game. Everyone knows I like R-Type a lot. I've even gotten in contact with Bob Pape, which was really cool, being able to speak to him directly for the last months. We got some exciting information back then, but anyway. Okay, what do you think, guys? I think it's a great job. I'm really happy with the result. So we got a fully working issue 4B. Okay, manic mining skills are completely different compared to soldering skills, you know. I'm happy. I think it's time to stop this. We've been on for 2.5 hours. Thank you for watching, guys. I liked it a lot. The other board I will do later. I will try to find time, but I might be back today or otherwise tomorrow with some more repairs for customers who have been waiting way too long. I really should do that. So that was it for now. Let me try to find the correct capacitors. And I'll see you next time. So, bye!